Hey everybody, it's Lisa Young Sutton with the second video in the Method of Distance series. Yes, it's going to be a whole series. I'm doing a lot of Method of Distance videos, and I'll have some other, beginner videos and videos on, the comparing cards and shorter spreads and all that mixed in. But I will be doing a lot of mod videos, okay? Because mod is where it's at, baby. Mod is groovy. All right, so I want to give you bite-sized pieces of information in each video. That way you'll gradually start to see the cards in a new way and everything will begin to gel in your brains. For any of you who have studied learning theory, you know that the first time you hear something that isn't directly related to anything you already know, your tendency will be to either reject it or it simply won't make sense. You won't know where to file it, in this filing system we call a brain, right? But after receiving the information several times, especially if it's presented in different ways each time, all of a sudden it'll click into place, like Legos. Snap, there it is. All right, so this deck is the Purple Dragon Dundorf, this is, and the link to where to buy this is in the information under the video. If you click on that show more, I don't know if you can do that on your phone, can you? Yeah, I guess you can, right? Yeah, you can. Okay. Anyway, okay, now this is a video, this is a video, but this is a spread that I did years ago, and I'm really excited to drag this one out of retirement. It's from my journal. Because it was a really good one. And I started in mod because, if you've read my book, you know that I learned originally from Bjorn Miris. And this is the way he reads grand tableaus. I don't think he does anything but the method of distance. Or anyway, it is his specialty. So this is my humble beginnings in Lenormand right here. So this was a reading I did for a young woman, and I'm just going to call her Pam. No, that's not her real name. And it was at a party. It was one of those party readings, and she wasn't she had never received a card reading before. She didn't know anything about cards, never even thought about them, and she was just at the party and saw me doing readings and said, what are you doing? And I'd like one. And so she was actually a doubter, though. But that's not the same as a tester. A tester will block your energy, right? But a doubter they just don't really know what to make of it. So she had no question, didn't know anything about it. So what I did for her was I said, you know what, I'm just going to lay a snapshot in time, I call this. So this is an all present moment grand tableau. This is not the next 6 months. This is not past, present, future. This is all present. We call this a snapshot in time. And these are very valuable if you have someone who comes to you and doesn't really know what they can't find the words. They're not sure what they want to disclose to you. They're not even sure how to formulate a question. They don't know what they want. And sometimes you can just throw one of these down and you can win them over like I won over. This woman is now a client of mine ever since this reading because she was so wowed. She's like, no way, you can see all that. So these can be very impressive. You just throw the cards down and you tell them what's going on in their lives. It's really cool. Okay, so now, like I said, it's a snapshot in time. So what was my question for this? I asked, show me what's going on in Pam's life at the present moment. So I'm going to start by pointing out a few things, important things that you're going to look for in any method of distance grand tableau. And then I'll get into how we start to break this down, how we break down everyone, how we approach it, like what to do first and all that. Okay, so the few things I'd like to point out, because if you look at where she lands, we have 3 related cards all touching her. And we call these the luminaries, right? We have the sun, the moon, and the stars. So they all fell in her very near box, right? I mean, look, this is the box around her. This is a box spread right here. All right, so I'd like to say something about the luminaries, and this is exactly where you want them. When you search for your client's card, you want to see that these are near, and you really want them all above, because, I mean, think about it this way. Where do these belong? In the sky. The moon, the sun, and the stars all belong in the sky, so that's easy to remember. You want them above. But even below, they are still good if they are this close to your client. So this is kind of like the difference between being fantastic and just being good, right? So what do all these mean? Well, I mean, they all shine light, right? They all radiate, excuse me, they all radiate light, which brings added value to one's life. So that's kind of what these are all about. Similar to the bouquet, right? The bouquet is like adding extra, something extra. It's that something that's offered to you that brings extra delight into your life. So even at a great distance, it's not a bad card. None of these are ever bad cards, no matter how far away they are. But they are adding something extra to her life, the fact that they're all very near. Okay, so the sun, she's standing on the sun. So when I see that, like you would want the sun up here. That would be its most ideal position, would be right over her head, right? But when I see it directly under the client card, I tend to look at it more as a sunset. You know, it's still beautiful, and you're still getting benefit from it, and it's still giving you some warmth and light and all that. But it's kind of setting, right? It's not as strong as if it's up here. So that's the way I like to look at this. That she's still getting benefit from it, but it's more of a sunset than you know, directly above her. All right. So you could say it's cooled. The sun has cooled down a bit. It's still there. She's still getting the benefit from it, but it's cooled down a bit. Now the moon, again, you want that shining above her, but the fact that it's touching her and below, she still gets some benefit from it. So this is about her recognition, her you know, social success. It's her reputation. So this is still good that it's touching her. Now remember, I always read left to right, and really with method of distance, you always read left to right too. So it's perfect. I know she's facing this way, and for some of you, you like to read the spread according to the gaze of the client card. I don't do that. So you can do that, and in which case you would switch the whole direction of this if that's the way you like to do it. You know what I mean? So that would make all the cards going from right to left. But I do not do it that way. I mean, you know, what the heck? You know, if you wanted, we could just hear, if that makes you feel any better, we can turn her upside down. Now she's facing the right way. So, okay. Now, let's go back to the luminaries here. The stars are above her. Now, what are the stars saying? The stars are something that's taking shape, something that is progressing, right? You could say that it's about a goal being within reach, right? So, you know, that's what we can say. This is above her and touching her. So we know that a goal of hers is within reach. That, you know, she's maybe something she wished upon a star for it's within her reach. Now that's not the same as success. That doesn't mean it's a sure thing. That would be more of the sun, right? But the stars up here is saying that it's within her reach. You have to remember this is all about what's close and what's far away, what she can reach and what's out of her reach, right? Okay. So, now, we always have to remember that the most important thing here, is this going to drive you crazy? It's driving me crazy. I'm sorry. I have to, I can't stand that. I have to fix it. Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, you're finding out a lot about me. That was going to drive me crazy. Okay, so any card, you know, that's touching the person is information, but then we also have the additional information of reading the cards that are touching those cards. All right, they provide the details. So the cards that are very near are providing details about how these cards are relating to her, but then each one, you can read the cards around that to provide the details of what this is referring to. This is the beauty of this system, which I adore, adore, adore. Okay, so now, the moon being very near, like I said, this is good. It shows that basically her reputation here is intact. So that's going to make sense in a minute when I explain what this whole thing is saying, right? So we know her you know, she may not be recognized to the fullest because it's below her, but it's touching her. So her reputation is intact, right? Now the stars above her and very near, that's, you know, the best position, right, for the stars. So they are within reach. A goal is within reach. It doesn't mean she's going to reach it, though, right? Especially now, like I just said, you read the cards around it. Well, what's weighing down on it? The worst position for the mountain is above any card, you know, you're reading, right? Because it's crushing it. This is being crushed by the mountain. Okay, so we already know that there's a goal that's within reach, if I could spit it out, but it's being crushed by the mountain. So we already know there's an issue there. All right. Now, okay, so the other one that I want to point out before we actually read this bad boy is the lily. Okay, the lily is an important card in the method of distance system, because it's the traditional card of virtue. So it shows if someone's doing something wrong or not. It's like something morally wrong is what that really means. So you want to look for it right away because it should be above. All right, you don't want it below. Below means they're doing something wrong somewhere, primarily if it's near. So this is far, so it's not that big of a deal. But you want it above somewhere. Now this is not below her, it's in her line, so she's okay. And it's far, so it's not saying a whole lot, but it will still say something about the card that's above and below it, all right? Because the card that is directly below it, like I said, you want it above. So it's above this card, which means this card is being blessed, is the way that Bjorn put it. And this is the card that is having an issue, because this is a card that's crushing, you know, the virtue, you could say, right? So the card below it is getting the blessing, and the card above it is crushing it. So there's a problem with this. All right, so you're going to get some information from that right away. Okay, so what could we say about that? Well, we know the anchor is the goal card, right? It's where she dropped her anchor. So right away, if it's crushing the lily, we could say that she dropped her anchor in the wrong place, especially look at the cards around it. Look at these cards above it and this too, okay? So we know there's a problem with where she dropped her anchor. All these cards are telling you that. Okay? And the card that's receiving the blessing. Okay, now the bird's card, if it's very near in this method, it's a bad card. It brings out its full meaning. It's the everyday stresses, and it's chaos, and it's mental chatter, and, you know, gossip and all that stuff, right? But it's far from her, though it is a corner, but it is far from her, but it's receiving this blessing. So when it's far, it's actually a good card in the method of distance. It means a short trip. Okay, which can be taken so many different ways, all right? So whatever this short trip is, it's receiving a blessing, all right? And we'll explain, I will explain that in a moment, what that means. All right, so now the next thing that I want to point out is the relationship trio, and that's really important in this one because, again, like I said, if you look at her card, you can see who's on her brain, what she's preoccupied with is a man, right? So right away, I would want to look at the relationship cards, right? Now, she was single. When I did this reading, she was single. So what's the relationship trio? We have the The ring, the heart, the anchor. Those are the 3 cards in this system that you look at for a relationship. So these are the rules for the relationship trio. The anchor is where you dropped your anchor, right? So think about what this does in a relationship, right? It's the it's the stability. Okay, think about what it does for a ship. What does the anchor do for a ship? You drop the anchor to anchor the ship. It provides safety and security and stability for the ship. Okay, so that is the same thing for the relationship. It's doing the same thing that it does for the relationship as it does for a ship. It's providing the safety and the security. It holds it in place. Now, that's not the same thing as the ring. The ring is a contract between 2 people. This isn't, but this is, right? So this is showing the union of these 2 people, okay? And this is the card of emotions and love and passion and joy and all that, right? So what are the rules for these cards? In order to have a good relationship, you want these 3 cards near, but this is the unique one here. The ring has to be to the right. Not because the right is the future. Like I said, this is not a past, present, future spread. This is all the present. But because the flow of energy goes from left to right. You know, you have to really wrap your brain around this, because think about the present moment. I'm talking right now. I just said now. Oh, it's gone. Okay, now is already in the past. Oh, yep, there it is. It's gone. It's in the past already. All right, so that's this is still the present moment, you could say, but that's already past. You know what I'm saying? All right. So before I make you crazy, I'm not going to go any further with that. But just know that the ring has got to be to the right. And like I said, this is going left to right. Maybe I should turn her back upside down so I don't throw you directional people off. But the ring has to be to the right. And you want the heart and the anchor very near. Okay? These are both far. Now I'm going to show you this, and the ring is to the left. So right away, whoever this man is that is on her brain that she's preoccupied with, these are all these 3 cards are saying that there's a problem with that relationship. Now, I think it'll be easier if I show you this way. Okay, wait, I'm going to do it like this, because I want you to see her near and very near cards. Right? This whole thing is all very important because she fell right in the center of this spread. Her very near cards are the box around her, right? Think of your box spread. Picture that you put her there and you've laid a box around her, right? There's her box. Those are her very near cards. The next layer out, just go out one from each of these and make a box. These are her near cards. She's missing one. But other than that, these are all her most important cards right here. All right? The rest are far. We have a line of far, and we have a line of far and very far over here. Now, what does that mean about the fate line? It makes the fate line even more significant because it's part of her near cards. All right? So, okay. Now, the first thing that I do in any spread, any method of distance spread, the first step is to look at the center for the corners and the fate line. All right, so let's look at her corners first. Now, some people read the corners every which way. They combine them first vertically, I couldn't think of it, horizontally, diagonally. They do all of that. I tend to not do that. I tend to read them. I focus on them according to the flow of energy, which means this is card 1, this is card 8, this is card 25, this is card 32, right? So I tend to just read these 2 together, and then I go down here and read these 2 together. Now, that's the way I always do it. The cards know that. That's the way they fall. They, you know what I'm saying? The universe knows I'm going to read it that way, and that's the way they give me the story. So what can we say? What can we say about this story already, just from looking at her corners? Well, we know this is her strength, right? This is her trying to protect what's hers. This is showing struggle, right? This is bringing hardship to this, right? Remember, this is describing this, that's describing that, right? So we know she's struggling to protect something that's hers and to stay in charge, all right? Regarding what? What do we have down here? Everyday stresses. This is also a coupling. Now, I definitely went to the coupling, a couple, meaning of this card because of this. So that right away brought that into play. And what's this? This is the abundance in her life, okay? This is something that adds value or increase to her life. It's also things she feels deeply about, right? So how can we make a sentence out of just those corner cards? That she's struggling to protect something that's hers and stay in charge regarding everyday stresses, regarding like a couple that, or a coupling is the way I put it, that she feels deeply about and has added value and increase to her life. So that was just my jumping off point for this whole reading. All right, I then went to the center four. These are the center four. You disregard the fate line when you're looking at the center four, because you have 4 rows here. So these are the center 4 cards. Okay, so what are the center 4 telling you? What's the most important thing going on in her life right now? And this is what wowed her, because I said, well, the most important thing in your life right now, or however I worded it, but I said, what's going on in your life right now is you seem to have a man on your mind, right? And there's something that's taking shape. There's some kind of communication that's taken shape here, right? So communication, you can say communication is taking shape. It's a goal that's within reach, right? Her goal that's within reach right now is to communicate to this man. How's that? I think that's a great way of saying it. So that's the center of her whole snapshot in time, right? And that was the thing that totally wowed her. And she's like, wait, what? What did you say? Oh my gosh. Okay, tell me more, All right, so next I read her box, the box around her. So I told her that she is preoccupied with a man, and the sun is setting here, so the heat is cooling down, right? The heat between her and the sky is cooling down, right? Now, what's being communicated right now is discord. So this told me they just had an argument, or they're about to. She's thinking about it anyway. She's about to, right? About to, taking shape. Okay. So we knew that there was some kind of issue here between her and the man, and it's cooling down, okay? And then this is the hidden issue spot. If you watch my box videos, do I have to turn her upside down again? Come on. Okay, because we know that it's going left to right, right? So this is the hidden issue. So what's the hidden issue? Is there's something wrong. She's feeling tricked, right? Now this says that the man was not out intentionally to intentionally hurt her. That would be the snake. But he just wanted what he wanted from her, right? So this kind of right away, I look at that and I think, oh, it looks like this guy used her, right? But reading, the primary diagonal line of a box, right? We have her in the middle, and we got the stars leading to the moon. So what's taking shape here is that her reputation is going to be intact, right? Now, also, we got the man heading for an ending, okay? Can't leave out the coffin there. So the man is heading for an ending, and what's taken shape, she's got her lucky stars up here, and it's leading to that her reputation will be intact. So there you go. Now, what can we say about the man? Now, remember, this is not the man's reading. This is her reading. So anything we read about this man is as it pertains to her. But what can we say about him as he pertains to her? This is a man with a secret. Okay? This is a man that's hiding something. And what is he hiding? Well, you know, it's kind of easy to figure out. I mean, look, he was the cavalier that rode into her life, right? But look what he brought. He brought worries and loss and burdens and hardship. And but look at here, the ring is closer to him and it's behind him, right? And what's the ring in between? Enemy and rival, right? The other woman, you know, I started seeing all that. I was like, oh my gosh, this man's already married, which turned out to be true. You know, I think at the time I said, it looks like he's already in a relationship. He's already committed to another, you know, but yeah, it turned out he was already married, which she did not know, which is why the lily is not below her. I mean, it all falls into place. Okay. Now let's look at her line. Now remember what I said about the line. The line of sight, or the primary row of your significator card, contains very near cards and far and very far cards, because it's going across the whole spread, right? So you're getting a little of everything. So that's kind of how it differs from the box. It's just providing more information. It's not going to ever counter what you read here. It's going to add to it. So it's going to add additional information. So now, we already read these two cards because these are the ones touching her. So we know that there's something, she's communicating some, you know, discord, right? She's having a disagreement with this guy, an argument, whatever. So those are the most close. Yeah, those are the closest to her. Now go to the next layer out. So these are still the near cards. So now we have, what do we have here? This is her social circle, right? And here we have a separating, we have danger, we have a sorting. This is like cutting somebody out of the social circle, right? And there he is. The man with the secret is about to be cut out of her social circle. Okay. Now remember, this is far, so this is family bliss and satisfaction and harmony among a, you know, close relationship, family, but you know, he's not family, but still. There's a reason why it's associated with sex too and all that, because it's like, you know, the people who are closest to you, we could say, right? So that's out of reach. And here we have extra delights coming in, invitations coming in, right? That's out of reach. But this is still her immediate story, her line, right? And she's feeling displaced from her card of safety and security, and you know, this is her personal life, right? It's very far from her. It's out of reach. So she's kind of feeling displaced in her private life. Okay. Whew. All right. So yeah, that's her line. Okay. Now let's look at the fate line. Like I said, the fate line is even more significant because it's part of her near cards. And this ties in with the rest of it. Here we have a change in loyalty, a change in friendship. But look at these two cards. She's heading on a new journey. This is distant, this is slow moving, this is going further away, right? This is expansion. And what's she going to do? What's the ship heading to? She's going to open new doors. She's going to close old chapters, right? We got the sun shining on the ship. We got the moon shining on the key. So this is showing all good stuff, right? Okay, so now what else do we look at in a GT? Well, you can look at anything. Like I asked her if she had kids. No, so we're not going to read around this card really. Health, I always look at the health card. Now the health card is the tree and it's very far from her. What does that tell you? There's no problems with her health at this moment in time, especially since she has the tower near. The tower is longevity. You want it near the client. You don't want it near the tree. Okay, especially if you have the coffin. Like if you had the coffin and the whip, oh my gosh, look at this. Okay, the coffin and the whip are two cards you don't want near the tree. And you don't want this near the tree. So if you put the tree there and these were all close to her, that would be a major health issue. But the tree is way over here. So now it's no longer a health issue for her. This is mental and physical health, right? Now it's just the card of well-being. So you can read the cards around it to see what it's talking about, okay? But for health, what I said to her is, well, you don't have any health problems right now. And she was happy to hear that. And then she had a job. So I looked at my work card is the moon. So I looked at this. So we already read this in relation to her and him, right? But now we're looking at it as the work card. So we would read the box. Now we already know there's a missing card here. So we don't have the diagonal from her, right? But what can we say about work? Well, the cool thing is the cards around the work card, even though we have some bad cards here, they kind of cancel each other out according to, based on the good cards that we have, right? So it was no biggie. I mean, this definitely told me there was some discord at work, and when isn't there, right? You could say that on any given day, there's going to be a little discord there. And it's regarding finding solutions to things, right? And this is like repeated motion, right? Repetitive attempts to try to find solutions, but you know, if this was above, if these were inverted, that would be better. That would be finding solutions, you know, but here we have repetitive attempts that aren't going anywhere, right? That are bringing in danger. But then, you know, what's the diagonal to the scythe? We have the ship. So the scythe is also being held up by the clover, and we have the sun and the clover on either side. So they, like I said, they all kind of canceled each other out. So we could say that the scythe is drawing in the ship. Now, what is the ship when it relates to work? It's the card of commerce. It's the card of business deals and extra money coming in, right? And that kind of makes sense with this. So there's repetitive attempts, but, you know, to find a solution that, you know, to bring in more money or get more contracts or whatever she did. I can't even remember, but you know, the ship is being drawn into the side, so that's canceling each other. Those two are kind of canceling each other out. And remember the box around the moon, that makes the ship the hidden issue. So, you know, the ship is slow moving and distant, right? But it's got the sun shining on it. So there again, like I said, these just kept, no matter how I looked at these, they were all canceling each other out, which made it kind of like, you know, neutral, really. You know, the sun and the clover, you know, this is your short-term luck. This is little opportunities, and you know, so these are popping up. The sun is, the rays are reaching that, and we got the ship heading to solutions and everything. But this is the hidden issue, makes it distant and slow moving. It brings that out, and this is weighing down on that. So there's still repeated attempts, and here we have still a danger zone and all of that. Okay. Okay, wow, I'm exhausted. All right, so I know I said I was just going to give you little bits of information in each one, and you're probably thinking, wait, what? I don't even know half of what she said. Well, you know, just watch the video over and over 50 times, and it'll all make sense. But like I said, I want to just keep throwing this at you. I want to keep throwing it at the wall, and sooner or later something's going to stick. For those of you who know nothing about the method of distance, believe me, it'll all come together. Just start thinking along the lines of what's close and what's far away, and then go back to your primary vibes and put it all together. And it will make sense, and it'll add so much information to your readings. And it's so easy to find the information with this method too. I mean, you never have to stop and think, oh, well, this connects to this, and this is in this house, but then this, blah, 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 blah. No, it's just like real straightforward. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Okay, so that's it for today. And as usual, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so that you will hear about all my videos whenever I make a new one, which is probably, I mean, I make one every week, but lately I've been making 2 a week. So let's see if I can keep that pace up, but you'll definitely get at least 1 a week. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye.